Hello, today we are going to take a very special plant from this very special little bee, put it in this special little thing, and do a special little ritual with it, where you see fire, and then you hear bubbles. And then smoke arises. The magic trick. We are going to chat from the safety of my sensory sock. I just made a video in the sock, where I got the sock. But I didn't have the time to talk about what I wanted to talk about, so that's what we're doing here. I just seen somebody talk about how, also, the reason why I'm not doing anything else is because I don't have the capacity to do two things at once. I'm already a squirrel. I saw somebody talk about how we don't really talk about like the daily things we struggle with as autistic people, and I know that I personally don't. I just keep it to myself, where I talk to other autistic people about it because nobody else gets it and everybody thinks that I'm just joking because everything I say sounds funny, but I'm actually being serious. Today we are going to talk about some of the things that I personally, and also because that was the premise of the video, but that's also why, is like hearing you don't look autistic. You don't look autistic. Oh, hold on. Do I look autistic now? But yeah, that's the thing that, that's the thing that you hear. I personally haven't been told by anybody that I don't look autistic. Because I'm pretty. But I haven't been told personally that I don't look autistic, but I have been told when I first thought that I was autistic and when I was in my beginning, like, self-diagnosis phase, a lot of people in my life didn't believe me, like, at first. I was like, yeah, I think I'm autistic. And they're like, no, you're not. You can make eye contact and, like, you have empathy. And I'm like, glad to hear my existence reduced to two things. Like, I wish that was the only problem that I was having that was making me think that I was autistic, that I couldn't make eye contact and having empathy. Unfortunately, that is like scratching the surface of struggles that I am having daily that are causing me to believe maybe I might have autism. Here is a not comprehensive list of things that I struggle with on a regular basis. I won't say that all of these things specifically happen every day, because today I just had more capacity than I've had in a long time. I had more spoons, and I think it's because I didn't go to work yesterday afternoon. I think that really healed me. It really did, because I woke up this morning and I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing. Did you know that happens? Trigger warning. Yes, diving right in. Passive suicidal ideation. Do you know what that is? It's where, like, you kind of want to but, like, not in a way where, like, you're actively, like, seeking out ways for that to happen. And, like, to be honest with you, like, I don't really even want to be unalive. I just don't want to exist. But when you tell people that, they think that that's what you mean. And, like, it is, because that's the only way that I could not exist. However, if there was another way in which that I could not exist, where I didn't have to unalive, I would choose that option. That option is usually running away. Crisis mode, I have that too. But that's not daily, that's just every once in a while. But the passive suicidal ideation, for me personally, she's a regular occurrence. She's just there, at this point, and I just acknowledge it because that's, like, really all I can do. I haven't found a therapist out here yet, but, like, really all I can do is just be like, okay, that's a thought. I know I don't really, like, believe that thought, but it's there and it doesn't feel good. And sometimes I'm like, let's just think the thought. Fuck it. I don't know. I don't have a psychologist or anything, but I'm fine. We're working on it. I really am. I feel like I'm getting... Also, I recently discovered that I have an internalized PDA profile of autism, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really going to explain that here, but essentially it's a pervasive drive for autonomy. I thought I was hyper independent. No, turns out the thought of having my autonomy threatened sends me into a panic inside of my head. Also a people pleaser. Don't really know how that worked out, but I am in distress a lot in my head. I just kind of thought that everybody was like that. I just thought everybody couldn't bear it, but nope, apparently that is not the case. So add that into my daily struggles, because every fucking thing is a damn demand. Some things I don't struggle with, but obviously because it's a spectrum. Anyways, irritability for no reason. If you ever just woke up angry at the world, and then everything that happens makes you more irritated because you could find something to be irritated about in literally everything that happens. My fiance could breathe. I'm irritated. The cat meow, irritated. The blankets don't feel right, irritated. And like on those days, I'm more susceptible to like having a meltdown or a shutdown, because it's just like everything that's happening is like technically a normal thing to happen, but like I'm so sensitive to all of it. It's just, it's not letting me up. I'm on the ground. Anxiety going to work. So I started working as a housekeeper, and I quickly realized that I never really know what to expect when I'm walking into somebody's house. Sometimes there's a lot of people home. That's a stressful situation for me. Not knowing what I can really expect in my day is very stressful, and I wake up anxious every day because of it. Exhaustion from just existing. I, on a good day, have like 5 spoons. A lot of things cost like 2 or more spoons. So that is like 2.5 things that I can do a day. What those things are greatly varies depending on what's going on in my brain. Sometimes we get in a good flow and I actually end up having more spoons than I thought I did. Or sometimes I don't have enough and I am done halfway through. The best part is you don't know how many you're going to get every day. But, however, you do know that if you use too many one day, because sometimes you can borrow spoons. I can borrow spoons. All my life I've been borrowing spoons. But the problem is that when you borrow spoons, you're now on a spoon debt. So then when you wake up the next day, you know that however many spoons you were supposed to wake up with that day subtracts all of that. So I can't decide what to do, and like nothing's felt good, and that feels so dramatic to say, but it's like, you know, like when you're watching like a show or something, or you're doing the activity that you chose to do, and like you feel like secure in that activity, you feel like, oh, okay, like this is enjoyable, I'm having a good time doing this, like I want to keep doing this. I'm not having a good time. I'm like still anxious because I feel like this wasn't the right thing to do. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it was the right choice, but I don't know what else I would want to do. So I don't want to stop, but like I don't want to keep going. It's a weird spot to be in, not being able to just like make a decision and like feel good in it. I've also been going through derealization, which is something that can happen to you when you go through a lot of stress. Which the last 4 or 5 months of my life have been extremely stressful for a person like me. So, it's just been happening for like 2 or 3 months, just like straight, like ever since I moved, just straight derealization. I like cannot explain to you how weird it is to finish a day and feel like you have no connection to the fact that the morning happened. At the end of my days, I'm struggling to remember what I did this morning. I know I had to do something because obviously like now it's the afternoon, but like what was it? And like why does it feel like what I did this morning was like 2 weeks ago? And things just look weird. My apartment is like the only place where things don't like look weird, even though sometimes my hands kind of look weird, and like my phone and like screens will look weird. Not even like not weird, but everything will just look like weirdly more crisp and clear. Which like usually when you hear people talk about like dissociation and stuff like that, they say that things are blurry. Well, actually they can also be very clear. And derealization, as I have learned in my research. So that was great for me to find out. And sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, did I look like that yesterday? Like, did I always look like that? I don't know. So that's a little strange. I can't focus for shit. Without the weed, I can't focus for shit. I don't want to do anything. I can't focus on anything. That's maybe why I don't want to do anything. I'm not sleeping well. I'm tired, like, all of the time. And just generally, I have very low energy, and I feel like I've always had low energy. I remember being a kid, and I remember, like, and low energy doesn't necessarily mean that I'm sleepy, because I can't really sleep and take naps. I don't often take a nap. I just remember being a kid, and I feel like I used to come home from school and, like, be tired, especially in, like, kindergarten. I used to pretend that I was tired so I didn't have to go to ballet, but I feel like I probably was actually kind of tired, and that's why I didn't want to go, because, like, that's stressful. I don't have the energy to be stressed like that. I didn't like going places. That's weird. Nobody thought that that was weird. Why is your child playing sick so she don't gotta go to ballet? I feel like I've just always kind of had low energy, where, like, I just kind of feel like blah, except every once in a while I'll get my, like, little distribution of dopamine and energy for, like, 2 hours, and I'll go, and then I'm back here for an indefinite amount of time. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I am in burnout, and I've been in burnout since, like, 2020. Maybe I'll put that in the title, as a burnt out autistic adult. I'm not gonna go into detail about the burnout. I can talk more in a different video about that, because, like, I have my own special interest, and I really like talking about myself, if you can't tell. It's like the one thing that I can always fucking do is talk about myself. Every time I'm like, do I have a special interest? And then I'm like, what is the one thing that I have always been interested in? It's myself. And it's not in, like, I don't know, it's like an introspective way. I've just always been trying to figure myself out. I like all things, like, related to myself. I like dressing myself up and seeing myself in different looks. I like talking about myself. I like watching my old videos. I like reading back my old journal entries and things that I've written, and just things that are related to me. I like to see them to figure out, like, who I am. It's not like oh my fucking god, I think I'm the best person in the whole wide world. It's like oh, I think I'm pretty cool. Like, I'm putting the pieces of myself together, and I like to look at the different pieces of myself and put them together, and I like to talk to people about them. I'm also, like, very sensitive recently. I don't know what that's about, but all of my well, it's a burnout thing. The more burned out I get, the worse the symptoms have been getting. The more I've been having, like, skill regression, and I've been having, like, a harder time doing things that I couldn't do before, like taking care of myself properly. I can read a book. I've been struggling to get through a book. Like, I just feel like it's getting worse and worse, and that pressure is getting worse. Sensory sensitivities are higher too. Like, things that would, like, skeeve me out and I didn't want to participate in would usually just kind of make me be like, ew, that's gross. But, like, now, like, it's genuinely making me feel ill. I used to be able to watch, like, gory things and be, like, relatively fine, but, like, actually it's grossing me out and it's making me feel ill, and I can't look at that anymore. That's new to me. That's a new one. Spiders. I'm terrified now. Absolutely petrified. Stay the fuck away from me. Oh, and then the most fun part is probably the invalidating and the gaslighting that I do to myself every day, convincing myself that I'm not actually disabled, especially when I have a good day like today. I'm like, well, none of the other symptoms are real then, because I clearly was just faking them if I feel fine now, because clearly that makes fucking sense. Just because I feel okay now, that means nothing that happened in the past is relevant, because, like, why would it be? It's bygones. Ignore it. I don't know, I honestly, like, and I'm reading my notes here because I wrote this and now I'm stoned, but, like, I really do genuinely feel like genuinely feel like it's that thing in my brain that makes me feel like I don't have it as bad as other people, so I can't claim to be disabled, and I can do X, Y, and Z, and other people can't. So I can't claim my... yesterday, the video that I was filming got cut off because my fiance came home, and
I've decided I'm doing a video on how I hate being perceived. So I'll just leave it at that. But I honestly don't remember where I stopped. But I'm just gonna wrap that video up here. Those are some of the things that I struggle with daily as an autistic person who's been burned out for the last 3 years. These are things that are just kind of like increasingly getting worse as, you know, I'm still like in stress and stuff. The other day my fiance said to me, because he asked me how I was, we were sitting outside, and I was like, you know, I don't know if it's like long COVID or if it's just like burnout or whatever. He's like, it seems like you're always burned out. And I was like, yeah, it's really hard to recover from autistic burnout when you can't escape the thing that's burning you out. And that's basically what it is, because working in responsibilities, the more responsibilities and obligations I have on me, the more stress I feel. And stress is what causes autistic burnout. And so naturally, it just keeps happening. But yeah, so those are some of the things I struggle with daily. I could probably think of more because obviously it's not an exhaustive list. And like I said, I don't like all of these things aren't necessarily things that I struggle with every day. I learned recently that people with PDA profiles of autism have regulated days and unregulated days. And it's obviously not like an every other day kind of a thing. You could have days and days and days and months and weeks of having regulated days. You can have the same amount of time of dysregulated days. So it's another thing to throw in the mix. But I just wanted to share some of the things that I do struggle with because I think it's important to talk about, and we don't really talk about it that much. And I know I don't look autistic, but I am. So listen to fucking autistic people. Okay, bye. What's up, man? I'm fucking autistic.